Hi guys, it's about 5:04 Eastern, 4:04 Central. This is actually the most recent update from the National Hurricane Center. The update that you will see, or the track that I have on my when I drew my little graphic, was from the 1 p.m. update, but it just updated a couple minutes ago. But overall, I think we can all say that Ernesto has done its share of damage, but it will do so a little bit more. Generally, flooding is the major concern with this. So by tomorrow afternoon, he'll become a tropical, or by tomorrow afternoon, making second landfall, become a depression by Friday afternoon, and overall, that is the general gist of things. I mean, Ernesto is really starting to wind itself down. 50 miles an hour is the sustained winds at this time. Well, as of the 1 p.m. update, he was 45 miles an hour, gust 65, moving west at 13 miles an hour. This is the general track. I mean, I think it's generally clear-cut what's going to happen. Not a major problem. Yes, he could move out into the Pacific, but I'm not going to really track it because it doesn't look like he's going to affect land, and yeah, I don't really like tracking in the Pacific anyway because, you know, I like really tracking what's going to affect us here in the United States, and usually most storms don't affect the West Coast. But if it were to affect the West Coast, then yeah, maybe I would track it, but right now it doesn't look like that's going to happen, and most likely he's just going to linger out in the waters and then eventually dissipate. So this is our next concern. This is what I'm going to start focusing my attention on. It's Invest 92, and this will be a concern. There's a slight possibility that this won't be a concern if it were to take this green track, but chances are no. This is only one. This is the ensemble models. Overall, I think you can all see the general consensus for this particular system is in this primary direction. Okay, moving out in this sort of direction. I am not really, then you have this one right here that says it's going to go way out here, and then you have this saying that it's going to go back into Mexico where Ernesto went. Most likely not. Most of the models right now are saying that this is going to move in this sort of direction towards the north and west, moving closer and closer to the east coast. These are the intensities. Now, there are a few models, and actually let's move back here for a second, that's saying that this could affect the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Cuba. That's a possibility, and if that were to happen, then yes, it would weaken, but overall, it looks like after it moves out of that region, it would yet again strengthen again, and it looks like this thing has a very good shot of becoming a hurricane. So this is a general trend. You can all see that the general trend is strengthening, and it looks like in the next 24 hours, this thing will be, actually within the next 12 hours, it looks like this thing will become a depression, and in the next 24 hours, this thing will become a tropical storm. So I think we can all pretty much say that Gordon, this will be named Gordon, will be a concern over the next 24 to 48 hours. Now, this is the GFS ensembles. Okay, now, yet again, there are some models that are saying that this will go back out into Mexico, but I think we can all generally agree that the majority of the consensus is saying that this thing will move out something like this. Okay, that's what I'm pretty confident at this particular time saying. I would say my confidence that it's going to move in this general direction is about 75%. There's a very slight chance that it could move out in this particular direction. Yes, it's a slight chance, but overall, I think I'm pretty confident to say it's going to move in this general direction towards the East Coast. So now goes the concern of who's going to get hit. Well, it's still too far out to say who's going to get hit, but I would say if you live between Jacksonville, Florida, all the way up towards Nova Scotia, you have a very good shot at seeing this thing at least indirectly affecting you. What does that mean? Well, high waves, rip currents, things like this. I strongly believe that the whole East Coast will be indirectly affected. Who's going to directly be affected? I'm not sure at this point. There's a possibility that it could hit here. It's a possibility that it could hit the Outer Banks of North Carolina. It's a possibility that it could hit Nova Scotia. It's a possibility that it could hit New England. There's several different possibilities at this point. But overall, what I want you guys to know is that this track is moving closer to the East Coast and that this particular system is strengthening. Now, the GFS ensembles tend to undo its intensity, but overall, it's going to strengthen over the upcoming few days. Okay, so that's what I want everyone to know. I didn't want you guys to see that, but yes, this is the model from earlier this morning. Now, before we get into really talking in depth about this, there was one person, and if you guys continue to post questions on my YouTube page, or post comments, I will respond to them in person. But there was one person today, last night, who asked a question. His name is MagicMan13JD. My impression is he's from northern New England, somewhere between Vermont and New Hampshire, because his question was directed towards Vermont and New Hampshire. And his question was whether this system was going to be as strong as Irene. Well, my answer to you, Magic Man, is this. I want you to look at this, and I want you to really look at this thing. This thing this is a very similar track to Irene also. It would skim the Outer Banks of North Carolina, would strengthen as it moves its way into New England. Very, very nasty, okay? And I would say if it were to take a track like this, okay, this is really what I believe. If it were to take a track like this, I would say this is going to be worse than Irene. There's several reasons why. If you look at this, these little lines, these are lines of equal pressure, and they usually indicate wind. Actually, they do indicate wind. Okay, now what I want everyone to notice is how close they are together. Okay, now what's very important is that when Irene hit, she hit as a tropical storm, okay, or a weak Category 1 hurricane. But this would be probably a stronger hurricane, okay, if it were to do this exact thing. So, if that's the case, we would probably have stronger winds and also the flooding yet again. I mean, look at this. This is intense rains. We're talking anywhere between 2.5 to we'll say between 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain, and this would still be moving quite slowly. I mean, look at this. Okay, so this is a fairly strong system. Okay, so what I want everyone to know is that if this were to take a track like this, this would definitely be impacting New England very heftily. Now, if this were to move a track like this, like what the most recent model is suggesting, it would generally affect northeastern portions of Canada. But at this time, I would say, because it's still so far out, I would say if you live in this general region right in here, actually, it should be more something like this. If you live in this general region right in here, you have a shot at this thing affecting us, okay? So, I am going to put out this, okay? Be prepared now. Start, really looking at my updates here. I will update information on this every day until we weather this storm dissipates or hits somewhere, I'm going to continue to update this information. But this does pose a threat for New England and the East Coast, between northern Florida all the way up to New England and northeastern portions of Canada, which includes Nova Scotia. So this is my update here. Very intense stuff. I am quite concerned about this because I have expressed this concern over the past, actually since early spring, and really particularly the models within the past few days have really been showing this thing hidden or moving eastward and affecting our region. So I really want everyone to be very vigilant about this, and of course we'll continue to monitor future updates here. That's really what the number one thing that we have to do at this particular time is. So that's what's going on. I hope you all have a great rest of your, I hope you check out my next update, which is the update about the forecast across the country. But I hope everyone has a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll be back tomorrow with another tropical update. Take care, everyone.